Hey everyone, it's Rhonda Swan. Welcome to today's special edition of the Help Me Rhonda show. You know, there's a lot going on right now in the marketplace, in the economy, and there's a lot of questions that are constantly coming in, not only from my clients, but from clients abroad, and asking, what do we do next? So I decided to actually bring on an expert, not only in social media marketing, who has a temperature check and a pulse on what's happening with social media. He's not only the expert in social media, Facebook ads, Instagram, along with messenger bots, but he's also a forecaster for industries. He looks at what's happening, trends that are taking place in the marketplace, so that we as entrepreneurs and small business owners can really look at where to take our next step on marketing. And I know that question right now has been coming up with so many people. What do I do next? Do I double down? Do I stop my marketing? Do I go heavier? Do I change? Do I completely pivot what I do? So guys, I wanted to bring on today my guest, who is Kim Barrett, who is the CEO of Your Social Voice in Perth, Australia. He's also our business partner in our PR division that we have here with our Unstoppable Branding Agency, helping our clients get positioned as the expert brand in their niche. Kim, really awesome to have you, to chat with you today about this, because, I mean, look, I see you're in your office. I don't normally see you, or you're normally in your office. You're at home right now, right?
Yeah, it's crazy changing time. So we literally all picked up all our gear yesterday and dragged it all home. And yeah, we're all operating remotely. So it's fun times. You've been doing this for 10 years and we're all just getting used to it over here.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, I look like I'm in my office. It's the same way it looks for me every single day. But, you know, needless to say, thanks for being here, because I think it's really important, Kim. I appreciate it. Guys, I use Kim always as my temperature check. He's the guy that I go to right away when I'm like, okay, what's happening in the marketplace? What do I do next? So, Kim, a lot of questions have been coming in. So I'd love to really get your feedback on this one. What's on the horizon right now, or at least what are business owners, what are they thinking? Like, what's the, I guess, the vibration in the market right now? And then I want to dig deeper into what are they doing? What should we be doing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll touch on first, like you mentioned there, like what's the kind of feedback in the marketplace. And for a lot of people, it is stress, overwhelmed. There is problems, right? And a lot of people have that. And I think one of the most important things that I always recommend for people in these times is that the more media you consume in terms of mainstream media, the more you are going to be stressed, overwhelmed, and have those problems, because media is designed to startle us. It's not designed to inform us. It's not designed to give us good news, right? It's designed to make us feel those things. So the most important thing for business owners in this time is to remember that, yes, right now, you know, Jon Snow got it right. Winter's come, right? Winter was coming and it's come. But after winter becomes spring, comes summer, comes all of those other amazing opportunities for people. So the most important thing for business owners right now, because a lot of them feeling this, especially if they don't have people to turn to, is that, you know, you need to be strategic, not tactical in these times. Everyone's going like, do I go and do this or this? And it's like, hang on, take time, breathe. You've got time, you're at home, it's okay. Breathe in, and then assess what's going on for yourself, assess what's going on for your industry, because every industry is going to have they're going to be at a different point in a change curve right now. One of my good friends, 𝐒𝐿 shared it the other day, the change curve for people, which is basically an inverse curve like this. And depending on where your business is in that, you're going to have different feedback and outcomes. So for example, people that are gyms, hairdressers, beauty salons, all things like that, where you're involved and you're working with people face to face and you're physically like touching people. In Australia, as is most of the world, they are all completely shut down. They're high risk, so they have completely unavailability to go and work with them. So for a lot of people, to go into the second point of your question, it's either you've got to retract and hold on, or they're pushing forward. And for a lot of people, it's causing what I don't know if this is a term, but I'm using it, which is forced digitization. So it's like you're being forced to digitally enhance your business. So for example, one of the gyms that I go and train at, they had to shut their doors. So within 24 hours, we had to build them an online training platform, build them an online page so they can still support their members and hopefully bring new members in as well to try and support them. My partner runs a language school. You can see the 𝐓𝐡𝐞 𝐔𝐧𝐢ще She teaches Spanish, Italian, and French at the Multicultural Language Center. And for them, we had to, in 2 days, teach all of their teachers And by all means, some of them still need a little bit of training, but I had to teach all their teachers how to use Zoom, manage Zoom, bring students on, interact with them. And it's by no means is it the most ideal way in doing it. It would be much better spread out over weeks, nice and stress-free. But for businesses, they've got to adapt at the moment. So there's only two fields. It's like, one is batten down the hatches and hold on. If you're really in one of those industries that can't, and unfortunately there are some that can't, but for the rest of them, it's like, well, you've got to make the choice to try and thrive if you can, rather than just holding on and seeing what happens.
Well, you know, I think this is really great advice. I mean, in what we're seeing, of course, in, you know, in the marketplace is that there are companies that, but they may feel that they can't do anything, but if they can pivot, like what Lily has done with the Multicultural Center, in some of these gyms, I've even noticed some of these brick and mortars are doing what Gary Vee did back in the day. Now, Gary Vee, of course, it wasn't locked up, right? But he started doing his wine show, educating people on wine. Guess what happened? People started then ordering the wine that he's talking about in a live show. He actually created a revenue stream for his company just by talking about what they do. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities out there, Kim, is that these companies that like gyms, what if your trainers did meet on Zoom with their private people, right? And that is happening. And I'm seeing that, like one of the gyms that I was looking at in Michigan, they're actually offering like the trainers that have the personal training, they're actually offering private trainings on Zoom where they're actually working and keeping the motivation up. And I think that's a really big thing to think about, right? Like just to think of ways that they can actually pivot, right? And yeah, the marketplace is changing, but let's give you guys some really solid ways to build. In fact, so Kim, I know that you guys are directly connected to Facebook. So would you say the best recommendation of those that are marketing online or they never have done ads, let's say they have, should they stop? Should they go light or should they double down? Like what should we be doing now and why? Because I think we're seeing some things right now when it comes to numbers that is big to highlight.
Yeah, and I'll share the numbers in just a sec, but I'll share one other thing because there's a lot of, and this is the worst time for misinformation, because there's some people that are saying every single business should double down. Then there's some saying that every single business should stop running ads. So there's so much misinformation. And again, I think that you need to assess it based on your business and your business model, more importantly, than necessarily your business. Because if you can make a quick pivot and you can go online like a gym or a language school, whatever it might be, and you can do that effectively, then yes, you should be marketing online. And the reason why I will say that is because at the moment, there's a couple of metrics that we look at when it comes to using social media. Number one is that there's been an increase in time on the platforms. So there's been, on average, about a 40% increase on Facebook and a 20% increase in Instagram usage, so people being on there. So that's across Australia, across Asia, and some of the US markets. Some of their numbers are still coming out of the US markets, but that's pretty much Australasia and a little bit of the US data coming through, which means on the other side, there's a 17% increase in scroll through rate, people moving through on every single platform. And again, I'm not just making these numbers up, these are directly from Facebook. But that also has led to an increase in 37% of online sales. So online purchases have increased by 37%. And I can pretty much attest to those numbers being accurate because one of the big numbers that we look at for how expensive something is what's called a CPM, which is a cost per 1,000 impressions. Basically, how much does it cost for 1,000 people to scroll past something? Now, in Perth at the moment, normally if I was to put a message out to business owners, it would be about $30 to $40, maybe sometimes down to 20 for a CPM for a business owner, depending on what I'm offering. At the moment, it's $3. Right. And then if I look at and I tested the market because I wanted to find out, I looked at the Italian market. I ran an ad there just to see what was going on. It was just nothing crazy, just like, hey, like my page. CPM was 10 cents, right? Cost per 1,000 impressions.
Wow, that's incredible.
10 cents. So it's like because there's increased number of people on there, it's kind of like almost a perfect storm. Increased number of people on the platform means there's more ad inventory for them to be able to sell. But then also decrease in some people advertising means again that there's a larger portion of ad inventory for people to purchase, which means that the costs are going down at the moment. So Facebook's still selling equally as much, but it's cheaper for us to buy it because there's excess supply rather than limited supply, which there normally is when it comes to ads.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is very powerful now, because when we understand that, and you made a very good point that I'd like to highlight. It's the misinformation. It's knowing what the next move should be, right? Because we know some businesses, they do have to hold tight and batten down the hatches. But those that business can thrive, or their offerings can be welcomed by their clients, they should really start taking strategic moves now. But I have a bit of a question mark on that one, Kim, because yes, it sounds like we're seeing less noise, right? Less noise means we have a bit more opportunities if we are the marketer. But what about those, let's talk about the gym owner. Let's talk about those that maybe can't quite take anything online. They're like, look, I'm a bakery, or I'm a this. How can I actually stay in front of my clients if there's no foot traffic? Okay. So I'm going to play the devil's advocate here, because I feel that there's some opportunities that we can look at. What about the type of actions that could be taken by any business, meaning get in front of them with high valued content? Let's say it's Facebook Lives, it's educating. Maybe they're cooking in their kitchen, or they're keeping the eyeballs on them. And I know because of the connection you have with Facebook, like, what does Facebook think? But I want to know what you think as well, because I'm seeing so much opportunity with less noise, less people, and cheaper ways to get my content in front of them in a really valuable way.
Yeah, 100%. And so there's two, and this is Facebook recommended. So they literally I've been on the phone to our Facebook representative pretty much every 2-3 days, giving us an update on everything. So in these times, this is what, and this is surveyed based on previous times of, I would say, turmoil, but also on the current market sentiment, which is that the first is that people expect brands to be able to deliver real value, act responsibly, and do right by the community, including their employees. There's certain people that I won't name that I know have let go of every single employee without any notice. And there's a couple of companies. There's a big one in America, who you know, Rhonda, and then there's a big one in Australia, which I won't mention the name of either. But the reason why that is number one, because people obviously want value at this time. So I know there was an amazing donut shop in London who's just created and started doing videos of how they make their donuts for people and trying to share that out there. And they've gone, look, we can't make any money at this time. Batten down the hatches. Hopefully the government will support us. But this time we're going to keep providing value. This is how we make our donuts. And there's photos of people drooling over their phone screens because it looks so young. But once people can then return and purchase from them, it means there's going to be a huge skyrocket in that. So number one is to keep providing the value. And then this is a statistic that Facebook's been able to pull, is that any brand that's been able to deliver purpose in an ethical way in times like this have seen their value grow by 2 times. So there's double in the value as much as in comparison to an average brand. So if you're able to do that at this time, once this time is over, once winter is finished and spring and summer come, you're going to have twice really like the value, the sweat equity, as the Gary Vee would say, in the marketplace compared to anyone else. So number one is, yes, like, you can provide value to people, even if you have to be on lockdown, even if things are tough, then that's what the market expect a brand that they want to trust in the future to deliver. And now the second, which is interesting because this is something that we work on. And when I heard this, I was like, really? Like, I knew this, but, to hear that, Facebook confirms it, is that they expect, and they recommend to brands, this is recommended by Facebook, to leverage PR to demonstrate a reliable brand image, because that's what people want, is a brand that is reliable in these times, trustworthy, and someone that can stand the test of time. So they're actually encouraging leveraging PR, which is something that we do super well all the time. We do that for a lot of our clients, is tying in PR to their content strategy as well. But Facebook's recommending it because people need to know who the reliable brands are. And the only way to do that is by leveraging PR and media.
Yeah, and this is great, because I love, sometimes they're like, people are going, did you guys have a crystal ball? Because, for the last 6 months now, Kim, for both of our clients and our businesses and our companies have really been heavily saying, let's double down on PR. Right now, 3 months ago, we were double down on PR because the amount of noise was up. cost per lead was way up. So we were looking at angles and ways to get really great third-party validation, high valued content, right, in front of our audiences. So we were leveraging articles like in Forbes, top tier publications, Entrepreneur Mag, Forbes, Inc. magazine. And so we were doing that, weren't we? Like, and I remember when we started, we're like, wow, because of this trademark process that you, of course, and our company has put together, we're now able to grab our audiences in a great way, like, so they're seeing great content, but then we're now able to remarket. Will you share a little bit about that? Because I want to highlight it, because I think it's important, especially now that Facebook just said, guys, use PR. And the reason behind it is this: it's a third-party validation, right? Back in the day, we could use blog posts and things such as that, but people could be swayed to do a blog post. Entrepreneur Forbes Inc. magazine are the top magazine in the world, and they, for entrepreneurs and businesses, they're not being swayed too much to be able to take that content. They vet who goes in, we look at the background, we look at your history. So you know when that type of publication comes out, people are like, okay, this is good stuff. So let's share what process we've figured out. Really, you were like, let's do it like this. And then what took place now and what we're seeing and how we can help people really leverage this recommendation from Facebook.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it's like, so basically, now when we have people sharing it and leveraging PR, we use our strategies to be able to then capture those audiences as we share them. So we know, if we send 10,000 people to check out an article about, how to thrive in uncertain times, as an example, right here from the 10 top entrepreneurs in the world on how to do this. When we send people to there, obviously they now know that we are a reliable brand. We have a reliable brand image. We're doing what Facebook said just there, right? And because we have almost the perfect storm, which is also that costs are going so low. Normally we promote them using our ad processes, but now it's even cheaper to get people to consume it because, number one, we have more people there, and we have the need from the publications because they know there's more people online, so they need more good content from reliable sources. So we put that together, then we start to retarget again where our costs are down low in comparison to normal. It means that everything is coming together in a perfect storm at the moment. And and I don't want people to think that I'm going like, oh, it's a perfect storm, it's super positive. Obviously in storms, some ships break, some ships sail through. It depends on what your ship is made of. And that's really what we do, is help make sure it's like, cool, we give you the sturdiest ship that's going to be able to weather through the storm. So if it's perfect and there's a little bit of clear way at the top of the wave where you can motor through, that's what we're doing, and that's what we've really found to work the best. And before all of this, and again, I don't want people to be like, oh, you guys just made this because of this time. It's like, we've been doing this for months now. Months and months, if not years, some of the stuff that we've been doing, because we've been in top tier publications for the last couple of years. But we've just figured out the best way to tie it in with perfect ad strategy to then bring people back to what the products and services are that we have. And now it works even better because all of the needs and desires are there in the marketplace. So it's, as I said, it is a perfect storm, especially now that Facebook's recommending it, because people need even more so that extra credibility, the extra reliability, because it's easy for people to pop up in this marketplace and take advantage in a negative context. So if you can provide on a positive context, you can also show that you are reliable by you leveraging PR. That's the best way to do it, rather than saying, I'm good. It's like, cool, this publication says I'm good, rather than me just trying to shout it from the rooftop.
Yeah, no, I think it's powerful. I mean, it's right. Like you and I both, like you've been featured in Entrepreneur magazine, Forbes, Inc. magazine, Success. I've also been in the same. Most recently, I've got a new article coming out, a feature article about women in business and how we're thriving. And it's interesting because before we were using this as like, look, we've been in this, it's great, it shows that we've been in, but now we're being very mindful. And I think that's important for everyone to listen to. Let's just imagine the state that many companies or businesses are in. Right now, maybe there are not a whole lot of sales. And I would say, based on Facebook's recommendation, which is act responsibly and ethical, meaning, yeah, maybe it's not the time to sell people something so much right now. Maybe it's the time to provide massive value, third parties, very strong quality PR and or third party validation of what you're doing. Because now look, let's imagine for the next 3 weeks or month, you are just providing people with such high quality content. Well, then what happens? Now, when they've been watching you, they see, especially in PR, like, wow, they've been featured in this article, their content is valid. And then now your offers come. Now it's time to share an offer, and then people are like, wow, I've been looking at you. I read several articles of you. You've been providing me so much valuable content, video content. Of course you should be the right one. And that's what I'm, been looking at, especially with our clients. Like I'm telling them, stay ahead of the curve, right? Because the curve is here and people are going, okay, what do I do now? Do I close down? Do I market? Do I do this? It's like, no, guys, we need to think up here. We need to think way ahead, meaning let's do the actions now that are going to help us over here. And I think that's why I love when Facebook comes out with like leverage PR, and that we said, okay, yes, we've actually been doing this, for a while. And so I think it's time for us to shift as well, right? Like pushing too much ads and pushing what you do down people's throats isn't quite working, but allowing your word. And of course, people have to be qualified to be in one of these publications. You've got to actually have a very high quality business. You've got to have shown results. You've got to have people that you've helped, and that you've got a methodology or expert advice that shows that you've actually done something that can help someone's using your advice and your expertise. I know too, there's a couple of different ways. I'll explain to some people like what can happen, because right now our company, we have a great relationship with the top tier publications like Forbes, like 𝐓𝐡𝐞, like Success Magazine, along with Entrepreneur Magazine. Now I've just taken on Medium, along with Thrive Global, who's Arianna Huffington's new publication that she put out, I think in 2016. And now they're asking, literally across my desk, it was, we want 1,200 new articles a day because of the amount of eyeball shifts. Entrepreneurs got about 76 million eyeballs, active eyeballs a month on their new digital platform. In the last, Kim, I believe it's 3 weeks, it has gone from 76 to over 182 million eyeballs. Like it's
crazy.
Over doubled, right? That means people are, well, why, right? They're not going into airports. They're not walking into bookstores. They're not picking up physical publications anymore. And now they're leaning into, they want their same resource, but they're leaning now digitally. And, we were looking at some costs in a last event that we were speaking at. And I was looking at the difference between the cost of advertising in a print publication. It's anywhere from 10 to all the way up to $100,000 just to get your ad in print. But now there's ways that you can get inside of these publications with just great content. And that's something that we've been focusing on, and we want to be able to help some people do that. Is there anything that you want to add to this, Kim? Because I think it's a real vital piece right now that people are taking action. And we have an application for some clients that they can actually fill out what they do and how they do it, so we can see if they qualify to be featured in one of these publications and allow us to help them get there.
Yeah, I just think, as we said, it's like, and I was speaking to many clients about this, and they're like, oh, should I do something now? Should I wait? And I was like, well, look, you're probably not going to get a more ideal time than right now. And if we think that, if you're in the middle of a cyclone, probably coming towards the middle of something, with many places having several weeks still to come on lockdowns and whatnot. And I think that this is the perfect time to really do it. Again, albeit that your business is one of those ones we said that can get value from where we're sitting at the moment, not for everyone. But if you're a business who has online or has been running online previously, or can leverage it, and maybe you've just pivoted from face to face, like we work with a lot of people in property and things like that, and they've pivoted from face to face to digital, even digital walkthroughs, that is something that you should highly, highly consider doing right now, because you're never going to find, like, again, this is a once in a lifetime really occurring event. I believe. I don't think it's going to happen again. I could be wrong, but if we look at that, it's nothing like this happened in my lifetime so far, and they're touting it back to 1918 is probably the most recent time that has happened. So unless there's someone still alive from then, which they could well be, a cheeky 100-year-old out there somewhere, 110-year-old that's seen it, but for most of us, it's never going to happen again. So you need to look for your ethical opportunity in times of crises. Not taking advantage of people, but taking advantage of opportunity, I think, is very important.
Yeah, that's really great advice. I mean, if you look at, let's say, even back in the Great Depression, right? We were still using, companies started to use PR and propaganda just to make people feel better. Like they were in front of them, talking about this is the kind of companies that are keeping our people, in jobs. These are the kind of companies and the actions that they're taking. I mean, that it does work. And it also, I think more than ever, we need to be connected. Right.
Yeah, that's actually where Coca-Cola broke out, was in the Great Depression, because they provided tons of value. Talked about, if you look at Coke slogans, they're all about positivity. They're all about happiness, unlock happiness, and all these sort of things. That's what they spoke about during the whole Great Depression. And then after that, they had their sales double year on year on year, purely because they did that in times of crises. They were delivered value, acted responsibly, and did right by the community.
And that's where we need to be. We need to look at that. And as a mindful brand, right? Everything that we do, our actions is what equates to our brand. And it's how we treat our clients right now, how we are serving the marketplace right now with valuable content, and then also how we're preparing to be on the upswing of the curve. And that's what happened for Coke. They stayed there. Their sales, they did not have high sales at that time, but they were doubling down on PR. They were doubling down on high valued messaging and content, so that when the upswing came, boom, they were the choice, right? Because the more we stay in front of people, we know this in marketing, right? It's 9 to 17, 19 touches just before someone psychologically makes a decision that says you're the brand, or you're the company to choose, or you're the coach, the consultant, or the service that I choose. So we need to start leveraging on that. Yeah, Kim, I'm real excited. Yeah, I appreciate this today, guys. This is like Kim and I said, this is like our State of the Union address. Like, what do you do now? This is where we need to go right now, and to really think about you as the brand, and are you a company that should be leveraging this type of process? Kim and I have put together a complete methodology on how we not only feature our clients in these publications, then how we follow through with it. Then, of course, then how do we leverage and utilize that information to help your clients more trust you? And that's the process that we're doing. So we're real excited about it, Kim. I'm happy to be here. Those of you that are thinking, you know what? Yeah, I want a little more information. Please reach out to us. We're gonna have some little information here for you to not only to reach out, learn a bit more about PR, about media, about being in top tier publications. And we'd love to help you guys get to that point, so that you can be with one of those that ride out the storm, that make it into spring and summer during this a little bit chaotic winter time and moment that feels uncertain. We're going to be the soundboard for you guys. So super excited for everyone. Thanks again, Kim. And I'm going to leave everyone with this. If you're going to create a brand, create a sexy brand. And if you're going to be anything, be unstoppable. See you guys in the next show. Brand awareness is key in today's modern digital era. And with the rapid growth of social media platforms and the simplicity for all brands to compete on the same playing field, business owners have to start getting creative with how their brand message reaches their clients and customers. Hi, I'm Rhonda Swan, the CEO and founder of the Unstoppable Branding Agency and the Sexy Brand Building Formula programs, where we help our clients create a sexy brand through strategic brand marketing, image, and film. I believe every small business owner deserves to stand out in a sea of marketing messages and make their competition irrelevant with the right brand image, brand message, and strategy. If your brand and marketing is well thought out, but design and images look terrible, no one will take your business seriously. If your design is beautiful, but your marketing message isn't planned out so strategically, it will fall flat on its face. That's where our team comes in. We help our clients restructure their brand image with photo shoots and create a winning combination of strategic brand building through impeccable design and great storytelling through film. The world of business has changed. Because of social media, customers and clients are looking for transparency and connection. A business owner can no longer hide behind a website or rely on their services to attract the perfect client. They want realness, and they want to see the truth behind the brand. As you can tell, we do things differently. And if that excites you, I want to invite you to book a consultation or join us at our upcoming VIP branding retreat and let us help you turn your brand into a sexy, profit-making machine.